So hey y'all, welcome back. Today we're doing French and Spanish. French and Spanish. Why are my French and Spanish learners at on here today? Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? We doing French and we doing Spanish. So I'm gonna give y'all a quick intro. People that normally not connected, hopefully they'll chime in now on this Friday. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get my followers up. I'm gonna try to do that. We got the first person. We got the first person in here. Who we got? Who is the magic person? We got the first person. Hopefully Friday I can get like a few more people in here. I just hate that I'm trying my best to promote my stuff, but it's just like I feel like because they're not showing it like that, the platforms is so it's really hard. So we gotta keep working on strategies to do it. Yep. So I'm trying to just wait for I get at least maybe like one or two people. I don't think it's one person. If I can get one person in here, then we can get it started. Just one person. I'll get it's probably about 5 minutes or 10 minutes at the most. So we're gonna learn some French and then we're gonna learn some Spanish. That's what we're gonna do today. Yep, that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna try to give it a little moment to see if anybody kind of chimes in. Yep, yep, yep. Give it a little moment. So, like I said, guys, I have the intention and I feel like I've been working my butt off trying to get this brand on the road, get it going. Um, but I don't know. It just seemed like I don't know. I just don't feel like that. I feel like YouTube and these platforms really not working in my favor to really try to push it like I want to push it. And I don't know because I'm not really focused on one particular thing. I don't know if that's probably the reason why. But I don't know. Like I've been very consistent. Like I be on not every day. I try to do my lives like if I can get at least one good live throughout the week or two, I probably don't be on quite as like. Thank you for the like. Thank you for the like. I appreciate that. I appreciate you for that. Okay, you playing with friends. Okay, well, thank you for being part of it. Thank you for being in here. Have a good time with your friends. Yeah, so we hope we can get more people. Hopefully. Yeah, so let's see if we can get somebody in here. Get somebody in here. We got one person that liked it, so I'm happy for that. So let's see if we can get somebody else in here. I'm probably give it about like a good maybe 10 minutes, maybe 10 minutes or so. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So all right, y'all. So it's Friday, and this is giving real TGIF energy right now. So if you grew up on Family Matters, Fresh Prince, or even just love '90s music, you're in the right place. So that's a lot of what my channel about. Um, and I can also teach you how to talk about some memories, like in French, some memories in French, some memories in Spanish. The crazy thing is I had somebody that actually wanted to learn Spanish. I've had like a couple people, which was like crazy because, but I love it. I love it. I love it. I had a person that wanted to learn Spanish, but they actually booked me on my website, and I was so happy about it. And I was like, man, I got my first booking, and it was in January. So I don't know what I can really do, like because it's almost like I can promote this all out, but I just don't feel like YouTube is going to promote what I want people to buy, or what I want them to be part of. Like my dance videos, for instance, YouTube definitely does a good job pushing my dance videos, but not really so much for just my language stuff. Right. So we're gonna talk about a few different things today. I'm just trying to get us some time, man. We're gonna do a quick intro. We're gonna talk about Memphis. We're gonna talk about my grandma. We're gonna talk about the '90s shows, the music. And we're gonna talk about my trilingual journey. We're gonna talk about all of that. All of that. Anybody that hasn't been part of it, we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna talk about it. But I do not get the algorithm, man. I do not get it. I do not get it. I probably go and get on TikTok or something. I don't know. YouTube is not being good to me now. They really just like dropped the bomb on me. Yeah, because it's like nothing that I do seems to be truly working. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think nothing truly working. So is anybody on here? Anybody on here? Anybody? So maybe I'll just go and start talking, I guess, so I'm not just sitting up here not talking. I'm actually currently watching Family Matters. I have kind of started to watch it because I've been watched it before, but I have never seen all the episodes like from start to finish. Never seen all of them like that. But I grew up on it. I seen like quite a few. Like it was like I was still watching Family Matters when it was reruns coming on. I mean not reruns, but when it was like the actual shows coming on. Now Fresh Prince, I used to see Fresh Prince come on, but I never really watched Fresh Prince growing up until I was in high school. So in high school, I watched Fresh Prince. I was like, I love Fresh Prince. I was just into it. It used to come on like Nick at Night. And I was like in, I think probably like 16, 17. I was like probably like in 11th, 12th grade. And I used to just watch it. And I love Fresh Prince at that time because it used to come on and I had my little TV in my room. But y'all welcome to comment anything about the 90s. We start out talk about the 90s. Um, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna give you the quick intro. I'm gonna kind of do it. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. This is becoming so frustrating. It's like I almost have no reason to be consistent because it's like empty. So I don't know. I don't know. I'm completely confused. I probably do I don't know, probably do like some all right, let's keep talking. All right. So let's do a quick intro. So I want to talk about Memphis first. So me growing up in Memphis, I think my brand stand out to me because I'm not a native Spanish speaker. Like I really grinded on my own to learn a whole different language and not just Spanish, French too. And I went to an all black school. I talk about this a lot, like in my videos that I do. Um, I went to like an all black school growing up, and I just know from an early age I was interested in learning Spanish from a very early age. Even though I didn't grow up around language like that. I grew up in the hood, Memphis, Tennessee, going outside, riding my bike, growing up in the '90s as a kid. So we didn't have the resources back then to learn languages like you do now. Really. We really didn't. But I think if I would have got in contact with it at an early age, like as a child, I really, really wanted to learn. I would have really been into it. And because I remember like doing whatever I could do to try to learn like little stuff, like little phrases and stuff like that. But now I feel like I'm a language learning expert because I mean technology has changed, evolved. So it's like it's easier for you to, you know, you just have to want to do it nowadays and you can learn. It may take time, but as long as you own it and you consistent, you're gonna learn. It takes time though. And I want to let everybody know here it take time. But yeah, I grew up in Memphis. Memphis went to Florida Elementary School, Mitchell High School. So I'm so amazed that even if I didn't even speak French, I would say just me speaking Spanish as good as I do. And people have told me like I'm better than some native people. Because when I interpret, because I'm a Spanish interpreter, so when I interpret, I'm very good. And I feel like I stand out because, like I said, it's not my native language, but I can speak it so well, and I have a southern accent behind it. So yeah, it's my journey in Memphis. I got bored of Memphis because I grew up when I was 26, and I got a taste of Delaware at 25. So when I went, I kind of knew I want to be in Memphis no more. I kind of knew, even though I went back, but I was ready to pack my bags at that point. So that's my stumping ground, like when I first grew up there. But I haven't lived there in like over 10 years because I left in 2015, like at the beginning, like the January 2015. So about 11 years since I have been in Memphis. Hey y'all, come on in, come on in. How y'all doing? Come on in. We got a couple of people. I'm talking about Memphis. I'm doing my introduction about Memphis, y'all. And we talking about Spanish and we talking about French tonight. So if any of y'all into any of these elements, hit that subscribe button. Yeah, hit the subscribe button and let me know where you tuning in from. So I'm talking about Memphis. So my grandma, that's where it all first started with my grandma. So I grew up with her first in Memphis. I grew up with her first. And when I was born, she took care of me. She was like the one that took care of me. My mom, she wasn't there, but my grandma, she definitely took care of me. Um, she was a kind, loving person, very nice, like a mom. Like I call her mom. Like she was a mom to me. And it's like now that I look back, she really was like wanting me to be a great person in life growing up. She wanted me to be a musician. And I look at it like languages is like my music to me. But I do love other stuff too. But she wanted me to be a musician. That's what she wanted me to be. So, but I didn't become a musician. But um, you know, I'm doing my thing with the languages. That's what I'm doing right now. Oh, hey, Miss Lady. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I'm just getting started right now, talking about my languages, talking about my background, where I'm from. So you just in time, and I be seeing your comments too. I be seeing your comments, and I appreciate you for coming on the stuff you come in on. I appreciate that. So how you doing today? Thank you for the like too. Thank you for the like. I appreciate that. Yep, I appreciate that. So how you doing? Yep. So I'm talking about Memphis. Okay, let me see. You said I'm okay working from one job to the Oh, okay. So you working two jobs. So what do you do for work? Like what do you actually do for work? Yeah, I appreciate you for taking time, even if you working. This really nice. Really nice. You actually working and watching. That's what's up. So yeah, I was talking about my grandma, how I grew up in Memphis, and like I'm not even really like those not my native languages. Like Spanish is not my native language, French is not my native language, but I had to grind. Okay, you do daytime cook, clean, evening cook. You know what? My aunt did the exact same thing. My aunt, she was a custodian and she worked for the school. And that was also part of me growing up in Memphis is we'll go to school and then, because I used to go to the same school that she used to clean up at. And we'll just be chilling, doing our homework when she, was cleaning, and then we'll go home. So it's amazing, she used to do the same exact thing, and she'll cook for us like when we was kids. So yeah, y'all new people that's coming in, y'all hit that subscribe button. So let's talk about some 90 shows and some music. Let's talk about that. Some 90 shows and some music as well. Some 90 shows and some music. Yeah, we got Steven Haircut, and then we got Alana Todd Hunter. So yeah, let's talk about some 90 shows and some music. So the show I was just talking about, I was just talking about Family Matters. That was like my go-to show growing up, and I've been watching it recently, like going and watching the episodes because I honestly I haven't seen all the episodes of Family Matters, believe it or not. but I grew up watching like a large part of it. Like because in the '90s when I was a kid, it was they were still coming out with new episodes. Family Matters. Do y'all know how long this show went on? So it went on from 1989 till 1998. So me growing up in I'll say like the mid '90s, I can remember watching TGIF with Family Matters. So that was like one show, Xena Warrior Princess. I know sometimes I've hated to admit that I watched it because people may look at it like, oh, it's a white show. It's like, it ain't just like your typical black show like Martin and stuff. But I'm gonna have to admit, yeah, I love Xena. I'm gonna just keep it real with you. And I think because I had a cousin that didn't really like, growing up in the hood, ain't no bad watching Xena, in no Memphis growing up like that. I'm not gonna say ain't no bad, but it wasn't something that your typical black household growing up in that time, in that place, in the hood in the South, ain't no bad finna be really white. People gonna be watching Martin, Wayans Brothers, Jamie Foxx, stuff like that. And I like Martin and stuff, but I love Xena. That was my show. Love Xena. Tales from the Crypt. Y'all can name a few '90s shows if y'all want to in the comments. But yeah, I grew up on all of it. And they don't make TV like they used to make it back then. It's just not the exact same like it used to be. And music, y'all know I love Janet. Cause y'all see me dancing to Janet, y'all see me dancing to sometimes Michael, but I sort of kind of feel like Michael, like I'm so like, you know what I'm saying? It's like I done been dancing to Michael for a long time. And I had a whole phase where like I wanted to wear the glove, I wanted to wear the shoes, and I love Michael Jackson, but I just feel like I want to kind of switch it up sometime. Cause it's like so many people do trends with Michael Jackson. So I be like, I just want to switch it up sometimes. I don't want to just do Michael all the time. Like, but I do like it. I still got a heart for Michael, but I definitely love Janet. This is like my favorite Janet. Like, I had all the CDs. This like I can just watch her videos all the time. Yeah. So y'all got any '90s shows, any music that you want to include in the comments? And every Saturday I be bumping my music. I don't do it on YouTube like that because they like block your stuff. It's just crazy though. But yeah, those just a few artists. Tupac, yeah. What other show? Malcolm and Eddie used to come on. I remember that. I just remember the whole line, and then it felt more valuable back then because we didn't even have cable. We didn't grow up with cable, so the shows that was coming on, we grew up in an analog moment where it was like wires, actual cables. That you we grew up, the converter box. Well, the converter box, I think there's more like can y'all hear me good? Can y'all hear me? I don't know. Yeah, but we grew up with what you call it, the scrambler box. I think it was called the scrambler box or something like that. And then people getting free cable, and I was in that whole environment. I don't think you can do it like that now. But yeah, so that's just the name like a few shows I grew up watching. Like I said, Martin. What else? You can't hear me. Is you the only person that can hear me? Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Can you hear me now? Can y'all hear me now? What about now? Is it better? Can you hear me now? What about now? Can you hear me now? All right, I'll keep talking then. I'll keep talking. So, okay, okay, okay. So yeah, those are a few shows. If y'all didn't hear me, I grew up on Martin. Really more so Fresh Prince, Tales from the Crib. And like I say, when I was growing up, stuff was still like new stuff. Beyond Belief Fact Fiction was another show. I don't know if y'all remember that. You have to guess like five stories. Like, you watch the stories. They used to use stories to talk about like my stories, but this particular show, Beyond Belief Fact Fiction, was a show where there were five stories and you used to have to guess which one was fact or fiction. All right, so let's talk about my trilingual journey. So, like I said, I've always, loved Spanish. Like that was my first love, Spanish, because first of all, being in the US, if you really want to learn Spanish, you have access to people that speak Spanish. So it's easy to kind of sort of immerse yourself in it if you live there as opposed to if you didn't, if you lived in a country where there's not really a lot of Spanish speakers in. So, that was my first little Spanish, and then after that it was French. So, yeah. And like I say, French, I still watch stuff in French every day. So what were y'all watching in the 90s? Can somebody tell me what was they watching in the 90s? Or what song instantly like just takes you back? Like when you hear one song, it's like, oh, it just take me back to the 90s. So I've already talked about what I was watching in the 90s. A song that instantly takes me back. Let me think. What song can instantly take me back to the 90s? The first thing pop in my head is that my boo, what is that? I want to be your lady, baby. If the game is on, give me a call, boo. If your love is strong. It's like that Ghost Town or something like that. Like that really instant, like just pop in my head like a summer in the 90s. Like a summer of I think it came out in like in 96. But I thought it came out in 98, but I'm sure they were still bumping it in 98. And I would say Twisted by Key Sweat. And then and what's that? Nobody, baby, nobody, the nobody by Key Sweat. So that was a couple songs, a few songs that take me back to the 90s. I already said what I was watching. Okay, let's get to the French segment, some nostalgia flavor. So if I say quand j'étais petit, that means when I was little. So in French, you would say quand j'étais petit, quand j'étais petit. If you want to say when I was little. Okay, so I want to say I grew up with my grandmother. J'ai grandi avec mon grand-mère. J'ai grandi avec mon grand-mère. If I want to say I used to watch TV every night, je regardais la télé tous les soirs. But I can say television, but if you say la télé, that's like cutting it a little short. So je regardais. I'm saying je regardais. This time about the past. So when you see that regardais, je voyais, this saying like a continued thing that you did in the past. C'est quelque chose que tu avais fait de la manière comme chaque jour, pendant une période de temps. So that reminds me of my childhood. I would say, ça me rappelle mon enfance. Ça me rappelle mon enfance. Okay, so what I could say is, moi, j'ai grandi à Memphis. J'écoutais beaucoup de musique des années 90. What am I saying there? So I'm saying I grew up in Memphis and I used to listen to a lot of 90s music. That's how I would say it. J'écoutais. When you put that AIS on there, that means you're talking about the past, but something you used to do, like, right? Used to do, right? So I say, j'ai grandi à Memphis. So I grew up in Memphis. J'écoutais beaucoup de musique des années 90. 90. So that's how I would say it. So Janet Jackson, like I mentioned, dancing. She used to do something like that too. Janet Jackson. So dis-moi en français, I grew up in. So you say, j'ai grandi à. Wherever you grew up. All right, let's do some Spanish. So if I want to say when I was a kid in Spanish, I would say cuando era niño. Cuando era niño. Cuando era niño. So that means when I was a kid. So I could say I grew up with my grandmother, my grandma. Crecí con mi abuela. Crecí con mi abuela. Okay. How do I say I used to watch TV every day? Veía la tele todos los días. Veía la tele todos los días. That's how I would say that. So in Spanish, I would say it reminds me of my childhood. And that's what I said earlier in French, what I said, ça me rappelle de mon enfance. That reminds me of my childhood. So that would be, eso me recuerdo a mi infancia, right? So compare. Let's compare this, y'all. So French, you say j'ai grandi. Spanish, you say crecí. Same idea, it's just a different rhythm. Same idea, but a different rhythm. And como que música escuchabas en los 90. En los 90s. Yeah. So escuchaba Janet Jackson, escuchaba bien Michael Jackson porque era popular en ese momento, en esa época, era muy popular en los 90s y sigue siendo popular hoy en día. So he's still popular today, Michael Jackson. Okay, so we can do a role play. I'm about to end it in a minute. I'm not gonna really be on here too long. We really not really getting that many hardly interviews. Um, But yeah, I feel like most people might want to learn Spanish because it's more useful. Um, I just think it's just more of a useful language because I mean, we living in the US, it's definitely useful living there. French, not so much. I feel like it's more like a niche language if you just love to learn it, like you just love French. It could definitely be nice to know. And I don't feel like you have to rush yourself to be fluent in French. But yeah, yeah. So I can teach y'all either one. Okay, I think we're gonna end this live right now. I think we didn't. Let me see. We got one person. I see people kind of sort of popping in and out, but I don't see much participation in the chat. So we probably gonna end it pretty soon. Yeah. So in French, I can say "C'était le bon vieux temps." So that means the good old days, le bon vieux temps, and in Spanish, los buenos tiempos. Yeah. So I think we're gonna probably end this in a minute, just because it ain't really much participation. I mean, I see like one person, but I've been on for like almost 30 minutes, and it's still only like one person that's on here. Yeah, so we're gonna wrap it up, y'all. Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.